Also called royal dragons or imperial dragons, gold dragons are the apex of an already unimaginably powerful race. They are judicious, wise, and benevolent. They hate injustice and foul play and will go to any length to smite evil wherever it may stand. Today, we shall go through every secret of the gold dragon that the monster manual does not cover. Gold dragons are majestic, beautifully graceful creatures who dedicate their lives in the fight versus evil. They can live and lair literally anywhere, from high up in the mountains to all the way down underwater. They're also extremely reserved, so finding one is always a great quest considering that they could be, well, anywhere. I'm not gonna spend too much time differentiating this dragon from the other ones because out of all of the metallic dragons, telling a gold dragon apart is actually the easiest considering the overwhelmingly unique feature of their whiskers. No other dragon possesses whiskers such as these, so when it comes to differentiating brass, copper, bronze, and gold, you should actually be able to nail it pretty convincingly every single time. So without further ado, let's start and see what exactly the monster manual says about gold dragons. Like always, we have a very good descriptor of how they look and what differentiates them from others. We're told that they can eat anything but prefer gems and pearls as their favorite food, which of course they love to be given as gifts. We're told that they are well respected, but they are very reserved and require a lot of privacy as they rarely fraternize with other dragons. We are told that they like to polymorph into humanoids and they rarely show their true form. While polymorphed, they like to help people and punish wrongdoers. And lastly, we're told that they place their hordes on vaults and protect them with magical spells and incantations. Just a couple of paragraphs of information, but overall we get a very good sense of what these creatures are all about. But now, it is time to kick the door open and see just what juicy secrets we have about gold dragons that the monster manual does not say. First of all, you will actually notice that they will share a lot of similarities with bronze dragons, the dragons of justice. So of course, I will recommend that you go and check my video on bronze dragons after you're done with this one so that you can see how the two of them fare up together. But yeah, just like the bronze dragons, gold dragons actually really prefer to be polymorphed, just like how the monster manual says. But what the manual doesn't tell you is that this is not just to avoid unwanted attention. See, gold dragons actually just generally prefer to be small critters or humanoids rather than their big draconic form. You can tell this by the fact that they change their forms even whilst in their lair where nobody's watching. They are so prolific at this magical body change that they actually have the unique and very special ability to fly even if their polymorphed form is wingless. So indeed, a gold dragon that changes to the form of a dog or a cat could still fly magically in the air. This is because the gold dragon's version of polymorph is particularly potent, and they bring a lot of powers from their original form into their polymorphed version. In fact, one of the best ways to tell a gold dragon is polymorphed into a critter is if you smell saffron or incense coming from that critter, as the smell of the dragon carries over into the polymorphed version. Now, gold dragons can indeed live basically anywhere in the world. They don't have any particular preference when it comes to where they will make their lair. What they do have though, which the monster manual doesn't tell you, is one golden rule. A rule that has been the case all the way back since the first edition. That is that gold dragons will only lair in a place made of solid stone. Other than that, the actual location is always secondary to the dragon since its main concern is always going to be to find a place that has a strong magical source. See, gold dragons do their best to protect the world from evil. That's just what they dedicate their lives to. So making their lair close to or in a strong magical source doubles up as a place where the dragon can practice magic, but also as a place where the dragon can safeguard this important source of magic from the hands of evildoers. But the former reason is what I want to focus on, the fact that gold dragons enjoy practicing magic. This is something completely ignored in the monster manual that actually has a huge ramification in how an adventurer will prepare for a battle against a gold dragon, but also how a dungeon master will play out that same battle. See, all dragons are sorcerers. They have the innate natural ability to cast spells. These spells typically differ depending on the dragon and the region that it resides under. Gold dragons, for example, have the innate ability to talk to animals, they can cast spells to discern lies, they can read thoughts, they can summon fey animals, and they can instill luck upon themselves or people. And of course, much, much more. But gold dragons don't actually rely on their naturally born abilities. Instead, they are the only true dragon that actually submits itself to formal magical training. What does that mean, you ask? They are wizards, Harry. Gold dragons' biggest hobby, other than questing for good, is to study magic in order to become powerful wizards with spell books and all. In fact, gold dragons dislike fighting hand to hand against other creatures. Instead, they will typically use their powerful high-level spells to deal damage. In a typical encounter with an enemy, the gold dragon will stall as much as it can in order to read the thoughts of its enemy and discern any advantage that it can get. And it will then avoid combat for as much as possible in order to allow itself to cast all of its preparatory spells, and only then will it strike. In fact, its favorite spells typically are Slow, Fire Shield, Cloud Kill, Glove of Invulnerability, Delayed Blast Fireball, and the Mace spell. These are the type of spells that you would see the dragon cast over and over again. Now, you might wonder about a gold dragon using a spell like Cloud Kill, considering the bad guy stigma that the spell has. But what's interesting about it is that it actually has very strong roots on the dragon from the very beginnings of Dungeons & Dragons. See, the gold dragon is probably the dragon that has changed the most out of all others as the editions improved. See, this is how gold dragons used to look back in the day, basically as a fully fledged Chinese serpent dragon. This was still the case for 2nd edition until it was finally changed during 3rd edition. You can see that a lot of the original flavor still remains in the modern version, as one of the biggest features of the gold dragon in terms of physical look is the outrageous length of its tail. In fact, on an ancient dragon, the tail can extend up to almost 60 feet in length, which is insane. This very long tail makes the dragon look almost like a Chinese dragon whilst in flight, as it gracefully moves and weaves as it flies in the air. In any case, originally the dragon used to have the ability to breathe a very powerful version of chlorine gas as a breath weapon, instead of the weakening gas that we have now. And this is probably where the usage of Cloud Kill came from. Okay, so far so good. Let's jump now towards society within the gold dragon's culture. We talked about it before, so we know that gold dragons are very reserved and very private creatures. This typically only applies with the outside world, as within their lairs they're actually fairly social. Depending on the region, they will have different powerful beasts that are loyal to the dragon, but most often than not, gold dragon lairs typically have good aligned storm and cloud giants that are also loyal, who will protect the dragon and its belongings. Within their lair, they will have a strong hierarchy system of who does what. This, of course, comes from the lawful nature of the dragon. What you might not know is that this desire for hierarchy actually expands outside of its lair in a way that no other dragon would be able to even dream of. We talked about something similar when we did our video on blue dragons. In there, we spoke of the fact that blue dragons have leaders within their community, whom they call the suzerain. These suzerains settle disputes, make rules, and generally command the desert in which they reside. The thing about blue dragon suzerains, though, is that their domain is only always the desert that they reside under, and the suzerain will always be the oldest blue dragon. In gold dragon culture, gold dragons basically vote on who will be the leader, but this leader rules the world. Yes, you heard that right. Every single gold dragon in the world basically votes on who will rule every other gold dragon on the planet. Now, the method of how they vote is not particularly described to us. One would assume that it is probably a collection of sending spells and teleportation spells and such in order to tally votes, but indeed, the gold dragon that gets to be the leader is decided purely on who is the most acclaimed, and every single dragon of Great Worm status or older will get to vote. A dragon obtains Great Worm status once they reach 1200 years of age, and just to remind you, a gold dragon can typically live for over 4,400 years. The gold dragon that is given the leader title is, from then on, referred to as Your Resplendence, and will rule over all gold dragons in the world. Now, typically, there really isn't much for the leader to do, as rarely will there be a major world event that would require the attention of all gold dragons, so what they end up doing the most is to counsel other dragons on how to better fight evil. In the event that something major does happen, then the leader would speak for all gold dragons in meetings. And in the even rarer event that a gold dragon turns evil or does something worthy of being punished for, then it is this leader who will judge said gold dragon. It is also the leader who would become the enforcer of its judgment if it is so required. Now, this is an example of how lawful gold dragons can be. The interesting thing though is that they are actually fairly chaotic in their day-to-day personal lives. Some gold dragons mate for life, while others for a very short time. Some have multiple mates, while others practice monogamy. Some raise their children, while others send them to other creatures for foster. In fact, it is not uncommon for a gold dragon to give their children to lawful good humanoids to care for them, opening the dragon parent to quest. Now, the actual mating process is quite interesting. See, dragons actually enjoy the idea of debating ethics and morals, but they don't like to do it with lesser creatures, basically with non-dragons. They do love it though when they are in search of a proper mate. Dragons who are dating will debate ethics and philosophy with each other for years before they settle to be with each other. They even go on quests together to see each other's mettle and to test each other's application of philosophy in a more practical sense in the real world. And of course, if they enjoy each other's company in questing and debating, then they will decide to mate and raise children. Now, to start to close this video, let's talk about treasure, people's favorite topic when they ask about dragons. The Monster Manual tells us that they like gems and pearls, since it also happens to be a gold dragon's favorite food. What the Monster Manual doesn't tell you is that gold dragons truly love artisans' works of art, from paintings to sculptures, calligraphy to fine porcelain. But the single biggest thing that you will notice on an older gold dragon's hoard will undoubtedly be magical items. See, most magical items double up as works of art, as typically they are masterfully made for that purpose, but they also double up as powerful tools for evil to use, tools that the gold dragon must protect and keep away from. Since they are both beautiful works of art and powerful tools that ought to be protected, you will see a lot of them in a gold dragon's hoard. Lastly, I wanted to answer a question that you all probably had going into this video. What do the whiskers do? Are the whiskers for show, or do they actually do something? Well, the thing is, the whiskers are actually not strong enough to be able to be used in combat or to hold things. They're also not dexterous enough to be used as somatic components for spells. So the actual use gold dragons have for the whiskers is to clean food from their mouth and to pick their teeth. There, answer given. Now we can all rest happy. Now, with that said, I would like to personally thank my Patron supporters, RucatoFan, Major Fail Gaming, Wyatt Curlin, Toby Oliver, Dylan Baker, Barry Maskant, Zach Powell, Spencer Boeck, and Meet the Ogre at Best for supporting me on Patreon at the $25 level. If you would like to support me as well, then please head on over to patreon.com/MrRhexx to support. Guys, this is so fun. I love doing these videos and I can't wait to do the next one. I am so glad that you guys are enjoying it. Make sure to like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, leave me a comment, tell me what you think about these dragons, and I actually want to know which dragon is your favorite. So far, out of all of the ones that we have done, which one have you liked the most in terms of the actual dragon, but also in terms of the video? Just for my own personal knowledge so that I can make the videos, of course, always better. But yeah, make sure to watch the other videos if you haven't. We have the entire playlist with all of the dragon videos and of course with all of the other D&D content that I have ever done. Make sure to watch those videos, put that playlist on play, and just go through them. In any case, thank you all again so much for watching, and I will see you all on the next video.